We lock our doors every night to keep the bad guys out.
But they're looking for ways to beat those locks and get in, and they don't have to look very hard. Police are warning about lock bumping, where criminals make a simple instrument to get through your lock. 10 on Your Side's John Carlin explains how it works so you can protect your family in this Crime Watch.
What you just saw is known as bumping, the art of opening a lock with just a few taps on a special key, a key that's increasingly easy to make and to get.
The tools aren't really an issue or a factor at all, because you don't need any special tools. All you need is to make a bump key and the knowledge to make that bump key, and then you can do it so easily that it's very, very disturbing.
The special key is inserted into the lock. When tapped, the tumblers tumble and the key turns. No damage to the lock, no sign it was tampered with. It's amazingly easy.
It takes just a little bit of practice, but I've been at it for about 10 minutes now. This key is stuck, a couple of taps, and that key turns, and I've just bumped a lock.
Think your house is safe? Think again.
Basically any pin tumbler lock, which is 99% of all locks sold in America, that just uses conventional techniques for pin tumblers.
The Salem-based Medeco high-security lock company is among those marketing a lock that can't be bumped.
The unique thing about a Medeco key that you don't at first notice is that the cuts are at angles. So they're not cut perpendicular to the key blade. There's a third locking mechanism as well, and this is a side cut that interacts with what we call a slider inside the cylinder. And this cut will depress and move the slider to the right position.
Medeco is educating police with a PowerPoint presentation, trying to be proactive without making the problem worse through publicity. John Carlin, News Channel 10.
Police say this is not a big problem so far in Virginia, but they say it will be, and they want people to be aware.
Coming up, they are supposed to provide extra security. Coming up, one locksmith's frightening discovery that allows thieves to easily unlock. Deadbolt locks. Most of us have them in our homes in order to provide extra security. However, a Bay Area locksmith is now speaking up on an alarming new trend, which enables thieves to easily bust a deadbolt. It's called bumping. Crown 4's Hazik Madyoun takes a closer look.
Locksmith Dennis McIntyre is demonstrating how someone can unlock or bump a deadbolt by using a common key.
A bump key is basically taking an ordinary key, converting it, and that key will then open any lock that it fits into.
Any lock?
You could open probably the majority of the locks in America.
Locks that can be found at most common hardware stores, including the big box stores.
Like that.
That disturbing fact has inspired Dennis to warn others.
There we go. And now it's unlocked.
However, some locksmiths prefer to keep their lips locked on the subject.
Like I said, I don't want to talk about the bump key. I'm not feeding the information highway out there that's going to just go out and do bad things with it. That's stupid.
Debbie may not want to speak up. However, I found one site on the internet that has several videos on how to make a bump key, passing along the information to the public. So if the information is already out there, what can be done? First off, Dennis says the public needs to know about the problem.
My goal here is I don't want to show people how to make a key. I'm not including instructions how to do that. It's basically that I want to show the vulnerabilities out there.
And Dennis says, most importantly, high security locks sold by most locksmiths are the best way to beat bumping.
I have this little assortment here of other locks that are not bumpable.
Reporting from Millbrae, this is Hazik Madyoun, Crown 4 News.
We lock our doors and our mailboxes and offices in an effort to keep thieves out. But if we think an ordinary lock will protect us, we had better think again.
Tonight, Terry Gruca shows us how thieves are cashing in on a new break-in technique that can get them access to our stuff in seconds.
Lindsay Ornstein is always careful to keep her door locked, especially now.
We're having a baby, and we want to make sure that we keep our apartment safe.
She even has 2 locks for extra protection. But how secure is Lindsay's home? Leading experts say the regular locks most of us have may actually offer a false sense of security.
What you think is keeping your safe is mostly vulnerable.
Security specialist Mark Tobias says he's popped open thousands of ordinary pin tumbler locks using a technique called bumping. It's when a specially cut key is inserted and given a whack.
It causes all the pin tumblers in the lock to split and the lock opens. And it doesn't matter whether it's a deadbolt lock on a business or a lock on your house, the chances are it can be wrapped or bumped open.
Locksmiths have been doing it for years to help homeowners. But the International Association of Investigative Locksmiths is worried because a lot of these keys are now being sold online with instructions on how to bump. And they're concerned they could end up in the wrong hands.
Someone that, looking for jewels, looking for collections, looking for high-priced items, would probably have the capability of doing it.
Tobias showed just how easy bumping is. He got into this office building in a matter of seconds, and he says he can tackle most standard locks.
It can be 5 seconds, it can be under a minute, but at the end of the day, about 95% of them can be bumped open.
He even bumped open this mailbox lock.
It's pretty serious, especially when you consider that more than 5 million post office box locks can be bumped open in the same fashion, which is perfect for identity thieves.
Tobias notified the U.S. Postal Service about the threat. The Postal Service declined an on-camera interview, but says it identified a number of potential vulnerabilities that might allow a person to gain unauthorized access. A number of security measures have been taken, and postal employees have been asked to remain alert. When it comes to your home, what can you do?
I would probably go to a higher security lock.
There are several, including this one from Medeco.
High security locks add extra locking features within the cylinder that make the bumping much more difficult.
But that extra security does come with a price. Each high security lock runs about $100.
Is it worth the money to you? I mean, that's a decision the individual has to make.
Lindsay says it's something she's seriously considering now that her family is growing.
I think it just gives added peace of mind.
The security expert in that story did have permission to enter all the buildings to demonstrate. Terry says high security locks may be more expensive than regular ones, but you may be able to get a discount on your homeowner's insurance policy if you install one.
Now live, CBS 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Your home's locks might not be as secure as you think. Next tonight, CBS 3 anchor Susan Barnett shows you a technique so simple she was able to break into a house. See how it works and what you can do to stop it. Now a story that'll make you think twice about the locks that protect your home. There's a simple technique to pop them open. It's called bumping, and it's getting so much attention recently, even licensed locksmiths have decided it is time to talk about it and show you how to stop it. CBS 3 anchor Susan Barnett has the story.
It's a method of very quickly popping open a lock. It sort of opens eyes and drops jaws when you see it done.
Brian Ray of New Jersey picks locks for fun and for work. He's a computer security consultant who hunts down weaknesses in locks.
Well, show me how you do this. Show me how you bump a lock.
All I needed was a bump key, which is just a regular key cut a certain way, something to hit it with, and a little practice. I was able to bump open a lock on the second try.
Oh, got it.
The fact that it's so easily done and perhaps done by someone without skill is the threat that people worry about.
A group in the Netherlands called the Open Organization of Locksmiths, or TOOL, has blown the lid off this lock-busting technique. It's all over the internet. And bump keys aren't hard to get. CBS 3 obtained 5 bump keys. We tried an employee's house. The bump key didn't open the front door, but the back door...
Wow. I was quite surprised. I wasn't really pleased with that. I think we might have our locks changed.
Especially at risk, post office boxes, says security expert Mark Tobias.
It's pretty serious, especially when you consider that more than 5 million post office box locks can be bumped open in the same fashion, which is perfect for identity thieves.
I really didn't want to go into this because I don't want this to become public, but it is public.
Locksmiths Martin Arnold and Ed Fitzgerald of Arnold Safe and Lock Company in Pennsauken say most hardware store locks are easily bumped, but there are bump-resistant locks out there.
The cost of a pick-resistant or a bump-resistant cylinder is more
than a conventional lock cylinder that you're going to buy. You can be looking at a difference of, say, $80 to $100 more for a lock. If we are interested in educating the public, then we may as well do it before it becomes a crime wave.
Is it dangerous to publicize this?
It's only by publicly discussing, not keeping knowledge in closed circles, by publicly discussing security flaws that the average John and Joe public can arm themselves against knowledge that certain criminals may already have.
Well, the Postal Service is certainly aware and tells us that a number of security measures have been taken. It's not clear, though, how often locks are bumped because it's usually untraceable. The best way to arm yourself is to get a bump-resistant lock. Susan Barnett, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.